Just wanted to give you a little bit of a better, maybe, orientation of where I was on the weekend. So this is where I stayed right here, All's Cove, the Canso Causeway. And then I scooted up along the 19, all the way up Margaree Harbor, up in here, and Shetty Camp up there. So you'll see in the video French Mountain right up in here, Mackenzie Mountain, and then the North Mountain over there. And then this is where Morrison's restaurant is. So then way out at the very end, Bay St. Lawrence and Meat Cove up there. So Cape Smoky over here, that's the coastal loop, White Point's out there. Then I scooted back down along here, and the Englishtown Ferry's right there, but I took St. Anne's Gut in through here, and then back down to Bedeck, and come all the way back down, and back again to the Cove Motel. So that gives you a little better idea of where we were. Ah, my love. My love, my love, my love. Something about Cape Breton Island. Something about the island. I was talking to quite a few people last night at dinner. They talked about, their first time down here and traveling around different places that were closed up from COVID. When I was down at the Wharfrat Rally, we were talking to some people down there and out around the French shore. There are places out there that haven't survived. So when I was talking to these people, their concern was, is that what they were going to run it up to here? And I said, no, probably not, because Cape Breton, long before COVID ever came along, Cape Breton had its own battles, and there was Stora and Stora and Scott Paper, the big forestry companies, foreign investment, but a lot of government kind of handout, and thousands of jobs involved. And Cisco and Devco, like Sydney Steel and all those, so crown corporations, a lot of taxpayer money in it, but thousands of jobs. The fishery, the collapse of the cod stocks. So when all of those big industries kind of went down, Cape Breton went through all that. And there were a lot of people caught up in that didn't have the education or weren't of the age to fall under that retraining. So when I look back on it, all of those things when they went down and the programs that were there to help them through, but Cape Breton developed itself in more of a boutique way. And what was always strong here became the lead, tourism, a smaller scale fishery, a more refined forestry, manufacturing, still some of the mining, but in a more boutique, a more smaller and more refined fashion. So these folks have seen all that, whether it's called COVID or it's called cutback or it's called, corporate abandonment or whatever. They've gone through all that. But one thing about this place, when that happens, they just gather around the kitchen a little tighter and sing about it. And the industries here, the tourism now, the festivals, the music, that's the driver of everything. I've said it before about tourism, how tourism could lead the way, you know, on everything. You could have almost every other industry slow down, but when you think of tourism, well, there'd have to be roads here to get people like me to these areas. There has to be motels, there has to be restaurants, there's got to be ships, there's got to be planes, airports. So everything that's needed can be built and maintained for people to go look and see. So that's the great thing, you know, my point about Cape Breton. When those big industries sort of faded and Cape Breton got its feet back under itself, well, all they did was tap dance harder. And really, they never looked back. And what happens is those industries become self-sustaining. People want to come back every year, you know, and share what they saw last year. And it's really about going to look and see and experience it. So that's my take on the resiliency of the people. Port Hood, isn't this where the hockey player Al McGuinness is from? Pretty sure. Nice little town. Clean. It has one of the feels to me, and I don't know if I should say it or not, but it has the feel of, you know, it's a town on the way through. And I am sure that there's some beautiful spots out here that you would want to stay. But it just has that feel like you're going, you know, because you're just sort of entering the island. But I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe this is the town of Al McGuinness. Home of Al McGuinness, look on the sign, wow. Oh, Cape Breton, Cape Breton. If you haven't been to this part of your country, I think you should come. This part of the province, over on the east side, Cape Breton, it's the Atlantic Ocean. And on the west side here, you've got kind of the Cabot Strait, and I believe it's the St. Lawrence Seaway. The Gulf of St. Lawrence. Yeah, the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and the Cabot Strait is in that. And I came up one time in the wintertime in your car, and this, as far as you could see, was pack ice that moved in here and stayed all winter. And then kind of to the south of the highlands is the Bredor Lakes, you know, very large inland lake. So really, you're surrounded by water. My God, this is beautiful. Marguerite Harbor over there. As many times as I come up here, I'm always amazed at the beauty. So here's the little town of Cheticamp. Actually, you know, downtown. The village. I've stayed, I think, in just about every place here over the last 10 years. Weather, just absolutely beautiful. You know, for a Wednesday, Thursday, middle of the week. I think I'll gas up here because I'm going to go right through and probably going to turn left up at Cape North, and there is no gas stations out that way. So that'll get me back and back past Cape North and down to Ingonish, I think, where I get gas again. We left Cheticamp and we'll be heading up the French Mountain. Some of the more iconic look-offs are out on this end. And try to capture as much as we can for you. That's the way we want to ride. So we came up on the French Mountain, and that has an elevation of 455 meters. And now I'm just on the Mackenzie Mountain, rolling down that, and that has an elevation of 335. And they're all part of a broad plateau, the Highlands, Cape Breton Highlands. But coming down the Mackenzie Mountain here, we get some real sweet hairpins. Peg scrapers, as we call them. You get 12% grade, you're dropping. not over yet. Get some real nice ones down here. Swings hard to the left and it comes right back below itself here. The challenge here is, if there's interesting things in the parking lot, like pretty women, or other motorcycles, or things out in the bay, is to not look at them, is to look through these curves. Brave, strong souls there. They did a little bit of excavation up behind me, so it bunched the cars up, so I'm not going to get to run it like I normally would. I've got my visor up, just so I can enjoy it. So you guys won't be bombarded by the wind noise. But this is fun up here when you don't have any traffic ahead of you. I think the North Mountain is my favorite of all of them. They all have, the French Mountain coming out of Shetty Camp has that first feel, okay, away we go. And it's got the iconic views down, the western side of the Highlands. It's kind of what everybody looks and sees. The Mackenzie, coming down all the hairpins that I showed you. The north has got some of the extreme up and down on the other side, real nice. And Smoky over there, Smoky is kind of, as you come down, you come around a corner and you see the Cabot Strait, the view, the spectacular view, and then the hairpin turns at the bottom, and then you're kind of out of it. Up here on the North Mountain, this is where you tend to find the moose, so you kind of got to pay attention here. Now this, folks, in the fall, like everything is still really nice and green right now, but in the fall, this is just spectacular.